Okay, in this video we're going to have to use our graphing calculators. I felt it was easier to draw the graph in using my calculator without having it recorded, and you need to follow along using your graphing calculator. So what we're going to do is we're going to sketch the graph of each. We know how to put these functions into our calculator, and notice the difference between these two guys. I have a parabola, okay, or a quadratic, which we know is a U-shape. And we have this cubic function right here, which is new to us, and so we're going to see how that's graphed. So we're going to graph this one, then we're going to graph this one. I'm going to draw them on each image that I have here, and we're going to go ahead and see some of the general ideas of the shape. And so we'll start by graphing the quadratic, and why don't we do this real quick too. This guy, because it's squared and there's three terms, this is a quadratic trinomial. Okay, and this is a cubic, and because there's more than three terms, we're just going to call it a polynomial. Okay, so we have a quadratic trinomial and a cubic polynomial. So let's go ahead, graph it on your calculator, and we're going to approximate. And when I graph it on the calculator, I notice that the zeros are at -1 and -3, approximately. Okay, and it opens up. It's positive, so it opens up. Okay, so let me thicken this line a little bit. Okay, and it's just approximation. We don't care how low it goes. We just want to know kind of where it crosses the x-axis. So I plot my intercepts. It opens up. I get the general shape. So if I was to describe this, I would say it is U-shaped. Okay? So now we're going to go ahead and graph the cubic and see what happens here. Okay, and so with the cubic, I'm going to go ahead and plot the zeros. I have one that's about, we'll just say it's about right here. And then we cross another one right about here, and you'll notice that it's cubic, and notice how many intercepts I have. 1, 2, 3, and I have 3 third degree, or cubic. This is a second degree polynomial, and so I have 1, 2. So at the most, I'm going to have 2 real solutions. 3 real solutions at the most. I could have imaginary solutions. We'll get into that as we progress through this chapter. I'm going to go ahead and draw the general shape now. And this guy comes up, comes back down, and there's our shape. And notice the difference. We have a squared guy right here, and I have a U-shape. I have a cubic guy, and we're going to call this guy S-shaped. Okay? A couple things here. The way that your book goes through this, just to kind of generalize, this guy right here is called a turn. Okay? So it turns once. So it turns once. It's a squared polynomial, and it turns once. This one's cubic, and it turns twice. Okay? So the number of turns is 1 less than the degree. Okay? And so these are general shapes. So when it's squared, it's going to be U-shape. When it's cubed, it's going to be S-shape. Cubed at the max is going to cross 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And because it's cubic, it's going to have 2 turns. Now there's certain graphs that maybe it's hard to see how many turns there are because they're really, really close together. Those are some special situations. I mean, actually, you might see them a little bit more often, but the idea is the general shape. We get a U-shape with the square, and we get a S-shape with the cubic. And notice the 2 is even, and the 3 is cubed. The 3 is odd, and so that's also going to cause some general changes in our graphs. Okay? And we're going to talk about that in future videos.